Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The wrinkled notice shook in hands made tired by worry. It was a clear sign that the person might soon lose their home. Rent was always due and very late, and it was a constant worry. The small studio apartment felt both nice and like a trap. Working at the bookstore all day did not help much. The pay was very low and only just enough for basic needs. A loud knock broke the quiet, sad feeling in the room. Mrs. Chen, who was 60 years old, stood in the doorway. "The bookstore cut my hours again. I have been trying to find another job, but—" "Stop," Mrs. Chen said, coming in without asking. She closed the door slowly. Her shoes made noise on the old floor as she looked around the plain room. "I have an idea." Hope flickered briefly. "Extra work around the building? I can do maintenance, painting, whatever you need." "Not exactly." She perched on the arm of his lone chair, crossing her legs. "My arthritis has worsened. I need household help. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, live-in position, room and board included." That's incredible. Yes, absolutely. When do I start?" "There's one condition." Mrs. Chen's expression remained unreadable. "You would need to wear a specific uniform." "Of course, whatever's required." She rose smoothly, heading for the door. "Follow me." The descent to her second-floor apartment felt like walking toward an unknown fate. Edgar had never seen beyond her threshold, despite living one floor above. The space that greeted him defied expectations. Warm cream walls, antique furniture, photographs covering every surface. "Wait here." She disappeared down a hallway, returning with a large white box. "This is the uniform." Inside lay folded black fabric trimmed with white lace. As Edgar lifted the garment, it unfurled into a short dress with puffy sleeves and a Peter Pan collar. Beneath sat white stockings, a frilly apron, and black Mary Jane shoes. "This is a maid outfit, like a French maid costume." "It's a proper service uniform." Mrs. Chen's tone brooked no argument. "My mother wore something similar when she worked for a wealthy family in Hong Kong. It represents professionalism and dedication." Edgar stared at the decidedly feminine clothing. "You want me to wear this? But The position comes with free rent, utilities, and meals. You'd have Sundays off." She paused meaningfully. "Or you can be out by Friday." The dress felt impossibly light in his hands. 3 days to homelessness or this. "I don't even know if it would fit." "It will. I'm an excellent judge of measurements." Mrs. Chen gestured toward the bathroom. "Try it on. Make your decision." Behind the locked door, Edgar stripped to his boxers with shaking hands. The dress slipped over his head easily, the zipper gliding up his back. The hem barely reached mid-thigh. The stockings rolled up his legs, held by built-in garters. The shoes fit perfectly, adding 2 inches of height. The mirror reflected a stranger, someone caught between two worlds, neither fully one thing nor another. The outfit emphasized his slim build and narrow shoulders. Without makeup or styled hair, he looked like exactly what he was, a desperate man in women's clothing. "I can't do this." "May I come in?" Mrs. Chen's voice carried through the door. Edgar unlocked it reluctantly. She circled him slowly, adjusting the apron ties, smoothing the collar. "The uniform suits you well. With proper grooming, you'll look quite presentable." She met his eyes in the mirror. "This arrangement benefits us both. I get the help I need. You keep a roof over your head. Nothing more complicated than that. People will see me. Only delivery persons and my occasional guests. The work is entirely within this apartment." She stepped back. "What's your answer?" The alternative flashed through his mind. Sleeping in his car, showering at the gym until his membership expired, eating from food banks. Pride seemed a luxury he couldn't afford. "When do I start?" "Tomorrow morning, 7 sharp. Bring your essential belongings tonight. The spare bedroom is yours." Mrs. Chen moved toward the door. "One more thing." She retrieved another box from the hallway closet. Inside lay a wig of shoulder-length brown hair, along with basic makeup supplies. "Your appearance must be consistent and professional at all times while on duty. I'll teach you the basics." That night, Edgar packed his meager possessions into 2 suitcases. The studio apartment that had felt like a trap now seemed like a sanctuary he was losing, but survival demanded sacrifice. The spare bedroom in Mrs. Chen's apartment was twice the size of his entire studio. Soft yellow walls, a queen bed with a quilted white comforter, an antique dresser with an oval mirror. After months of anxiety, the space felt surreal in its comfort. "Your alarm is set?" Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway wearing a blue silk robe. 6:30. "Good. Shower first, then come to my room. We'll start with your appearance before moving to duties." Sleep came fitfully. Dreams mixed his reflection in the bathroom mirror with memories of his mother teaching him to tie his shoes, his father's disappointed face when he'd dropped out of college. The morning routine felt like preparing for a performance. Hot shower, careful shaving, moisturizer Mrs. Chen had left on the dresser. The dress hung on the closet door like a waiting costume. "Don't dawdle," Mrs. Chen called from down the hall. Her bedroom was a shrine to organization. She sat at a vanity table, patting the bench beside her. "Sit. Watch carefully." The wig came first, brown synthetic strands that matched his natural color but fell in a feminine cut around his face. She adjusted it carefully, pinning it secure. "Foundation next. Your skin tone is fair, so we'll use this shade." Each step came with precise instructions. Foundation blended with a damp sponge, concealer under the eyes, powder to set, neutral eyeshadow in brown tones, thin eyeliner along the upper lid, 1 coat of black mascara, rose pink blush on the apples of the cheeks, dusty rose lipstick applied with a brush. There. She turned him toward the mirror. Much better. The face staring back was his, yet not his. Softer, more delicate, undeniably feminine. Combined with the uniform and wig, the transformation was complete. "Now, let's discuss your duties." The list was extensive but manageable. Breakfast at 7:30, always steel-cut oatmeal with fresh fruit for Mrs. Chen, toast and eggs for himself. Kitchen cleaned immediately after, dusting the living room daily, vacuuming every other day, laundry twice weekly, lunch at noon sharp, afternoon tea at 3, dinner at 6. Questions? The uniform? Do I wear it all day? From 7 a.m. until after dinner cleanup. Then you may change into your personal clothes for the evening. She stood gracefully. Let's begin with breakfast. The kitchen was vintage but well-maintained. Edgar fumbled with the apron strings, hyper-aware of the dress swishing around his thighs as he moved. The Mary Janes clicked on linoleum, forcing shorter, more careful steps. Posture, Mrs. Chen observed from the breakfast nook. Shoulders back, smaller movements. You're not lumbering around a construction site. Cooking in the outfit required constant adjustment. Reaching for high shelves hiked the hem dangerously. Bending to retrieve items from low cabinets demanded careful positioning. The stockings slipped occasionally, requiring discreet tugs. Acceptable for a first attempt. She sampled the oatmeal. Tomorrow, add a touch more cinnamon. Cleaning presented new challenges. The vacuum cord tangled in the heels until Edgar learned to step carefully. Dusting required a delicate touch to avoid knocking over Mrs. Chen's extensive figurine collection. Each task came with corrections. Hold the duster this way. Bend from the knees, not the waist. Smaller steps when carrying the laundry basket. By lunch, his feet ached from the unfamiliar shoes. Wisps of brown synthetic hair stuck to his lipstick when he forgot and licked his lips. The makeup felt heavy, foreign. You're adapting well, Mrs. Chen approved over sandwiches. Though you must remember to refresh your lipstick after eating. The afternoons stretched endlessly. Every mirror and window reflection startled him. This uniformed figure couldn't be him, yet it was. When the doorbell rang at 3:30, panic seized his chest. Answer it. Mrs. Chen didn't look up from her crossword. It's the grocery delivery. The delivery man did a double take but said nothing, handing over the bags with averted eyes. Edgar's cheeks burned beneath the blush as he signed the receipt with trembling fingers. See? No catastrophe. Mrs. Chen unpacked items calmly. People see what they expect. A maid in uniform answering the door is unremarkable. Dinner preparation went smoother. The movements were becoming familiar. The careful way of walking the heels demanded, the automatic smoothing of the skirt when sitting, the conscious effort to keep knees together. "You may change now," Mrs. Chen announced after the dishes were done. "Well done for your first day." Edgar practically ran to his room, eager to shed the costume. But undressing felt strange too. The dress had been worn for 12 hours. His body had adapted to its constraints. His own jeans and t-shirt felt wrong somehow. Too loose, too rough. The next morning came too soon. The routine repeated: shower, shave, moisturize. This time Mrs. Chen supervised as he applied his own makeup, correcting his technique with patience. Blend more at the edges. Lipstick should follow your natural lip line, not exceed it. Days blurred together. Monday through Saturday, the same schedule. Wake, transform, serve. The uniform became less costume and more daily reality. The heels grew comfortable. The makeup routine shortened from 40 minutes to 15. "Your walk has improved considerably," Mrs. Chen noted at the end of week 2, "though you still forget to sit properly sometimes." Edgar had developed a rhythm. Breakfast preparations started automatically at 7:15. He knew exactly how Mrs. Chen liked her oatmeal, her tea, her dinner vegetables. The apartment's cleaning schedule was memorized: bathrooms on Tuesday and Friday, deep kitchen clean on Wednesday, windows every other Saturday. "I have guests coming Thursday," she announced Monday evening. "My book club, you'll serve tea and refreshments." The prospect terrified him. Delivery people were one thing, but extended interaction with multiple people? What if they recognize me? "From where?" "You rarely left your apartment even before this arrangement." Her tone was matter of fact. "You're overthinking. To them, you're simply the help." Thursday arrived like a looming storm. Edgar took extra care with his appearance, checking his makeup repeatedly. The brown wig was perfectly positioned, not a strand out of place. The uniform was pressed to perfection. 4 women arrived promptly at 2, all Mrs. Chen's age, all wearing casual elegance. They barely glanced at him as he took their coats. "The new girl?" one asked Mrs. Chen. "Yes, she's working out wonderfully." The pronoun hit like a physical blow. She. Without hesitation or qualification. Edgar retreated to the kitchen, hands shaking as he arranged cookies on the silver serving tray. "Tea, please," Mrs. Chen called. He entered the living room carefully, setting the tray on the coffee table. The women continued their discussion of this month's mystery novel without pause. He was invisible, just part of the apartment's furnishings. "More hot water, dear?" One woman held up her cup without looking at him. "Yes, ma'am." His voice had unconsciously pitched higher. When had that started? The woman smiled absently, already returning to her conversation. The afternoon passed in a blur of refilled cups and emptied cookie plates. Not one of the women paid him any attention beyond polite thanks. He was exactly what Mrs. Chen had said, simply the help. "Excellently done," Mrs. Chen praised after they left. "You see? No one questioned anything." That night, Edgar studied his reflection while removing makeup. The face underneath looked strange now, too angular, too masculine. When had his perception shifted? The brown wig sat on its stand like a patient friend waiting for morning. Week 3 brought new challenges. Mrs. Chen's arthritis flared badly, leaving her bedridden for 2 days. Edgar managed the apartment independently, bringing meals on a tray, administering her medications on schedule. "You're quite nurturing," she observed over soup. "Have you considered formal caregiving training?" "I never thought about it." "You should. There are programs, certifications, a steady career path." She patted his hand. "Though I'd hate to lose you." The comment sparked something warm in his chest. Being needed, valued for his service. When had he last felt that? The bookstore job had been pure drudgery, anonymous and replaceable. Here, his efforts mattered. By the 4th week, the routine felt natural. Edgar no longer rushed to change clothes after dinner. Sometimes he forgot, doing his evening reading or watching television still in uniform. The brown wig stayed on longer too. It was effort to remove and restyle each morning. "You've been wearing the uniform past hours," Mrs. Chen observed one evening. "Oh." He looked down at the black dress, startled. I didn't realize. I'll go change. No need. I simply noticed. She returned to her knitting. If you're comfortable, that's what matters. Comfortable. The word resonated strangely. When had comfort begun, including stockings and heels? But it was true. The clothes no longer felt like a costume. They were simply what he wore for work, and work had expanded to fill most of his waking hours. The 5th week brought an unexpected visitor. Mrs. Chen's nephew arrived from Portland, a successful lawyer who clearly disapproved of his aunt's modest lifestyle. Aunt Linda, you should sell this place. Move somewhere with proper assistance. I have proper assistance. She gestured toward Edgar, who was clearing lunch plates. This is Marley. She's wonderful. The name hit like ice water. Marley? When had Mrs. Chen started calling him that? But correcting her in front of the nephew felt impossible, so Edgar simply nodded and escaped to the kitchen. Marley? The nephew followed. Unusual name. Yes, sir. How long have you worked for my aunt? About 5 weeks, sir. He studied Edgar with lawyer eyes, seeming to catalog every detail. The scrutiny made Edgar hyper-aware of his appearance. Was the wig straight? Lipstick smudged? Did his voice sound convincing? Well, she seems happy. That's what matters. The nephew departed, leaving Edgar shaking with residual adrenaline. He suspected nothing, Mrs. Chen assured him later. You handled yourself perfectly, though I apologize for the name. It simply came out. You remind me of a Marley I knew years ago. It's fine. And strangely, it was. Edgar felt distant now, like a character from someone else's story. Marley felt immediate, present, real. The 6th week marked a turning point. Edgar woke early before the alarm and lay in bed experiencing an odd sensation. He was looking forward to the day, not dreading the transformation, not counting hours until he could change back, simply anticipating another day of useful service. You're up early, Mrs. Chen noted as he entered her room. Couldn't sleep. Might as well start the day. She studied him carefully while he applied foundation. You've changed. The makeup? I thought I was following your instructions. Not that. Your entire demeanor. You move differently, speak differently. You're comfortable in your skin now. Comfortable in his skin. But which skin? The one underneath the makeup? Or the one created by it? The distinction blurred more each day. Is that bad? Not at all. She adjusted his wig with gentle fingers. People bloom when they find their proper place. Perhaps this is yours. The 7th week brought spring cleaning. Every room needed deep attention. Washing windows, shampooing carpets, organizing closets. Edgar threw himself into the work with enthusiasm. The physical activity, a welcome change from routine maintenance. Careful on that ladder. Mrs. Chen watched nervously as he cleaned the top bookshelf. Those shoes aren't meant for climbing. I'm getting good at heels. The words came out proud, and Edgar realized with shock that it was true. The Mary Janes that had tortured his feet now felt natural. He could practically run in them. Indeed you are. Still, safety first. That evening, exhausted from cleaning, Edgar collapsed on the couch, still in uniform. Mrs. Chen joined him, handing over a cup of tea. We need to discuss something. Fear spiked instantly. Have I done something wrong? Is my work not satisfactory? Your work is impeccable. That's why I want to make this arrangement permanent. She sipped her tea calmly. Not just month-to-month survival, but a real position, with a small salary beyond room and board. What? You've proven yourself invaluable. I'm offering steady employment with benefits and regular raises. But there would be conditions. What kind of conditions? The uniform remains mandatory during all working hours. The professional appearance standards continue, and... She paused delicately. I'd prefer if you maintained consistency even during off hours. It's jarring to see you switch between presentations. The meaning sank in slowly. She wanted Marley full-time, not just during work. No more evening reprieves in masculine clothes. No more Sunday breaks from the wig and makeup. That's a big ask. I know. Take time to consider. But think about this. When did you last feel genuinely yourself? As Edgar at that bookstore? Or as Marley here? The question haunted him that night. When had he last thought of himself as Edgar? The name felt foreign in his own mind. Looking at his male clothes hanging in the closet, they seemed like artifacts from a different life, someone else's life. Sunday arrived, his day off. Edgar woke and automatically reached for the wig before remembering. No uniform required today. He could wear anything, but choosing proved impossible. The jeans felt wrong against skin accustomed to stockings. The t-shirt hung shapeless after weeks of fitted bodices. He stood before the mirror in boxers and nothing else, studying the contradiction of his reflection. A knock interrupted. "Marley? I'm making breakfast if you'd like some." Marley. The name Mrs. Chen had adopted exclusively now. It should have bothered him, but instead it felt like coming home. Edgar was the person who'd failed at college, disappointed his parents, barely scraped by at minimum wage. Marley was competent, valued, needed. Be right there. The decision made itself. The shower, the shaving, the moisturizer, all automatic now. The wig settled into place like an old friend. Makeup applied with practiced ease. But instead of the uniform, Marley chose a simple blue dress from her gradually expanding wardrobe. Mrs. Chen had been leaving gifts of clothing that happened to be the right size. "You look lovely." Mrs. Chen smiled as Marley entered the kitchen. "That color suits you." "Thank you. I thought about what you said." "And?" "I accept. The permanent position, the conditions, all of it." Mrs. Chen's smile widened. "Wonderful. We'll discuss specifics tomorrow. For now, enjoy your breakfast." The 8th week felt different. The arrangement was no longer temporary, no longer about avoiding homelessness. Marley had chosen this life, chosen to remain in dresses and makeup, chosen the name that felt more real than the one on her birth certificate. "We should make things official." Mrs. Chen presented papers over morning tea. "Employment contract, tax forms. You'll need to decide what name to use." The legal name stared up from the forms. Edgar James Morrison. It looked like hieroglyphics from a dead language. "Can I use Marley?" "Legally, that requires more paperwork, but for employment purposes, we can use whatever you prefer." Marley wrote carefully in blue ink. Marley Morrison. Close enough to feel connected, different enough to feel new. "I've been thinking about your education suggestion," Marley ventured. "The caregiving certification. Could I do that while working here?" "Absolutely. There's an excellent program at the community college. Evening classes wouldn't interfere with your duties." Mrs. Chen looked pleased. "I'd even help with tuition as part of your benefits package." The future suddenly had shape beyond daily routines. Marley Morrison, certified caregiver, perhaps eventually a nursing degree, a real career built on the skills discovered in this apartment. Week 9 brought another book club meeting. This time, Marley felt no anxiety. The women greeted her warmly, remembering her from last time. "You look different," one observed. "Have you done something with your hair?" "Just styled it differently." Marley touched the brown wig self-consciously. In truth, she'd been experimenting with different styles, finding what felt most natural. "Well, it's very becoming. Mrs. Chen, you're lucky to have found such a gem." The praise warmed Marley throughout the afternoon. Being seen, being appreciated, being genuinely liked as herself. When had Edgar last experienced that? "They adore you," Mrs. Chen noted after the guests left. "Mrs. Patterson asked if you might be available to help with her daughter's wedding." "Really? I told her you were exclusively mine." She winked. "Can't have everyone stealing my best discovery." Discovery. As if Marley had always existed, waiting to be found beneath Edgar's failed exterior. Perhaps that was true. Perhaps the uniform had simply revealed what was always there. Week 10 brought a challenge. The grocery delivery included a new driver, one who lingered too long, stared too obviously. "Haven't seen you before." His eyes traveled slowly down Marley's uniform. "You knew?" 10 weeks. Marley kept her voice steady, professional. "Must get lonely, cooped up in here all day." He leaned against the doorframe. "Maybe you'd like to grab coffee sometime?" "No, thank you." Marley tried to close the door, but he blocked it with his foot. "Come on, don't be stuck up. Just coffee." The lady said no. Mrs. Chen appeared, her tiny frame radiating authority. "And you're no longer welcome for deliveries. I'll be calling your supervisor." The man retreated, muttering under his breath. Marley's hands shook as she locked the door. "Are you all right?" "Yes, just startled." "Men can be pigs." Mrs. Chen guided her to the couch. "But you handled it well. Firm but polite. He saw me as a woman." "Of course he did. That's what you are." She said it simply, like stating the sky was blue. "Does that bother you?" Marley considered carefully. The attention had been unwanted, uncomfortable, but the recognition itself, being seen as she presented, without question or doubt? "No, it doesn't bother me." "Good, because you are a woman, Marley, in every way that matters." That night, Marley stood before her mirror in a soft pink nightgown Mrs. Chen had gifted her. The reflection showed truth, not a man in women's clothes, but a woman who'd found her way home. The brown hair framed a face that had learned to smile again. The nightgown draped naturally over a body that had learned grace. Week 11 passed peacefully. The routine was second nature now. Marley woke each day eager to begin, to serve, to be useful. The uniform was simply her clothes, the makeup simply her face. Even on Sundays she maintained her appearance, finding men's clothes increasingly foreign and unwearable. "I've been thinking," Mrs. Chen announced over dinner, "about what I said before, how I always wanted a daughter." Marley's heart stuttered. "Oh? My husband and I tried for years. When he passed, I assumed that dream died too." She reached across the table, taking Marley's hand. "But sometimes life provides what we need in unexpected ways. Mrs. Chen, Linda, please call me Linda when we're off duty." She squeezed gently. "I hope I haven't overstepped, but I've come to think of you as family, the daughter I never had." Tears threatened Marley's carefully applied mascara. "I never had a good relationship with my parents. They wanted someone I couldn't be. Their loss? You're perfect exactly as you are." Week 12. 3 months since that desperate night facing eviction. Marley could barely remember the person who'd stood in that studio apartment, terrified of losing everything. That person felt like a character from a book read long ago. "Your application was accepted," Linda announced, waving papers. "Classes start next month, Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 to 9. "Really?" Marley grabbed the acceptance letter, reading it 3 times to believe it. "I'm going back to school." "I'm so proud of you." Linda hugged her tightly. "You'll be wonderful." The hug lasted longer than employer and employee should share, but they'd moved beyond that relationship weeks ago. This was family, chosen and cherished. "I should update my wardrobe," Marley worried. "For classes. I can't wear the uniform. We'll go shopping this weekend." "My treat. Every woman needs a proper wardrobe." Shopping. In public, as Marley, selecting women's clothes. The prospect should have terrified her. Instead, it sparked excitement. Another step into the life she'd chosen. "Thank you. For everything." "No, dear. Thank you." Linda's eyes misted. "You've given me purpose again. Someone to care for, to watch grow. That's precious at my age." The shopping trip was a revelation. Marley had existed in uniforms and gifted clothes, never choosing for herself. Now, faced with endless options, she discovered preferences. Knee-length skirts over mini, cardigans over blazers, comfortable flats for school, though she still preferred heels for work. This one, Linda held up a green dress. "With your coloring, it's perfect." The dress was perfect. So was the next one, and the next. They left with bags full of possibility, a wardrobe for a woman building a life, not just surviving. Monday morning of week 13 brought registration day. Marley dressed carefully in her new navy skirt and white blouse, brown hair styled in a professional bun. The community college campus buzzed with students of all ages. "Name?" The registrar barely looked up. "Marley Morrison." "ID?" A moment of panic. Her driver's license still said Edgar, but the registrar simply typed without checking, handing over a student ID with Marley's chosen name. "Welcome to the program. Orientation is down the hall." 20 students filled the classroom, mostly women, ranging from 20s to 50s. Marley chose a seat in the middle, notebook ready. Welcome, everyone. Let's start with introductions. Tell us your name and why you're interested in caregiving. When her turn came, Marley stood smoothly. I'm Marley Morrison. I work as a live-in caregiver for an elderly woman. She encouraged me to formalize my training. I've discovered I love helping people with daily tasks that let them maintain independence. Wonderful experience to build on. The instructor smiled. We're glad to have you. She belonged. Not pretending, not performing, simply belonging as herself. The weeks blended into months. School on Monday and Wednesday evenings. Work every day, though the lines between job and life had long since dissolved. Marley and Linda developed rhythms beyond employer and employee, watching movies together Sunday nights, sharing stories over tea, creating the kind of chosen family both had lacked. Your grades are excellent. Linda reviewed the midterm report card. All A's. I actually enjoy studying now. Before, school felt pointless. Now I see direct application. You're thriving. Linda touched her cheek gently. My daughter is thriving. Daughter. The word that should have felt strange instead wrapped around Marley like a warm blanket. This was what she'd been missing. Not just acceptance, but belonging. Not just survival, but purpose. I've been thinking about the future. Marley ventured over dinner. After I get certified, I don't want to leave. Who said anything about leaving? Linda looked alarmed. This is your home. But if I'm working elsewhere, then you'll be bringing professional experience back here each day. We'll adjust schedules. She reached across the table. Marley, dear, you're not just an employee. You're family. This arrangement isn't ending just because you're advancing your career. Relief flooded through her. The apartment had become home in ways her old studio never was. Leaving felt impossible, like trying to stuff herself back into clothes that no longer fit. Besides, Linda continued with a sly smile, I'm not getting younger. Eventually I'll need more care than housekeeping. Who better than my own certified daughter? The future stretched before them. Marley advancing through certifications, maybe eventually nursing school. Linda aging gracefully with trusted care. The unique family they'd built enduring through changes. I love you too, Marley whispered, the words escaping unbidden but true. I know, dear. I've known for weeks. 6 months after that desperate night, Marley Morrison stood before her mirror, preparing for another day. The brown wig was her own hair now, grown out and styled properly after months of careful cultivation. The makeup enhanced rather than disguised. The black uniform with white lace that had once felt like a costume now simply felt like going to work. Marley, breakfast in 10 minutes, Linda called. Coming. She smoothed the dress one final time, checking her appearance. Professional, competent, feminine. Everything Edgar had failed to be, everything Marley had discovered within herself. The woman in the mirror smiled back, complete and content. She'd found her place, her purpose, her family. The desperate man who donned this uniform to avoid homelessness was gone, transformed into someone real and whole. Perfect timing. Linda smiled as Marley entered the kitchen. I made your favorite French toast. You're supposed to let me cook. Special occasion, 6 months since you came home. Home. Such a simple word for such a profound truth. This was home. The apartment, the routine, the relationship that transcended employment. Most of all, the self she'd discovered beneath layers of failed expectations. Thank you, Marley hugged her tightly, for seeing who I could be. I simply provided the opportunity. You did the becoming. Linda returned the embrace. Now eat up. We have a full day ahead. They sat together in comfortable silence, two women who'd found exactly what they needed in each other. Outside, the world continued its relentless pace. Inside their small sanctuary, time moved differently, measured not in weeks or months, but in small moments of connection and care. Marley Morrison adjusted her white apron and began another day, exactly where she belonged. The transformation was complete, irreversible, and absolutely right. She'd discovered the truth that had always existed, waiting beneath the surface for the right moment to emerge. Some people spend their whole lives searching for where they belong. Marley had found it in the most unexpected place, wearing a maid's uniform in a modest apartment, caring for an elderly woman who'd become the mother she'd never had. It wasn't the life Edgar had planned, but it was the life Marley chose, embraced, and loved. The morning sun painted golden stripes across the kitchen floor. Coffee percolated, filling the air with comfortable ritual. Another day of service, of purpose, of being exactly who she was meant to be. Marley Morrison smiled and got to work, brown hair catching the light, Mary Jane's shoes clicking confidently across the floor. She was home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.